So continuing in part 2, first we'll take up the Mint newspaper. So herein also we are having the topic around the monetary policy and increased repo rates. So higher for a longer interest era. So what is the Indian outlook on this? So here we are basically trying to assess कि interest rates already high level पे, अब वो higher level पे भी कब तक sustain करने वाले हैं? That is another concern. वन कंसर्न इज की रेपो रेट और कितना हायर, क्या हम पीक पे अचीव कर चुके, क्या हम पीक अचीव कर चुके, एक वो क्वेश्चन है। एंड पीक पे भी हम कितने टाइम तक रहने वाले हैं, वो एक अनदर एरिया हो जाता है हमारे लिए। तो बिफोर मार्च 2022 when US Fed Reserve it began hiking the interest rates, the borrowing cost उस टाइम पे it was almost zero. So at the recently concluded IMF World Bank meetings in the Marrakesh, we basically saw that officials they fretted out the new trend of the interest rates remaining high for a longer time period. So ये एक again possibility है कि interest rates higher level पे थोड़े लंबे टाइम के लिए रहने वाले हैं। So इसका impact world level पे क्या होगा और इंडिया के ऊपर particularly क्या impact हो सकता है? So let's look into that. So expert feels कि global economy which is just emerging from the pandemic, it may not be prepared to handle high interest rates. And most countries they have piled up huge debts. So rising global debt एक दूसरा concern है which is again connected with this thing only. And lower income countries they are particularly stressed. So इसके वजह से we are again seeing कि even China is in a way misusing this kind of an event when we see it is going ahead with its debt policy. So banking system, it is under pressure with many US banks needing a bailout. So even USA में we saw two banks failing also. So this reflects कि banks के ऊपर कितना pressure हो रहा है. Higher cost of borrowings वो भी कहीं ना कहीं जो प्रॉपर्टी सेक्टर है उसके ऊपर इम्पैक्ट करेगी, ओवरऑल ग्रोथ के ऊपर भी इम्पैक्ट आएगा, बिकॉज बोरिंग कॉस्ट की वजह से जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं स्लो डाउन हो रही है। Then household savings across the world, they are also dropping, and delinquencies on the credit cards, auto loans, they are also on the rise. So rising defaults भी कहीं ना कहीं एक पैटर्न इमर्ज आउट होता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है। So IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has warned of a multi-dimensional threat to stability. So multi-dimensional threat to stability की अगर हम बात करें, rising inflation, इतना ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट रेट हाइक करने के बाद भी वी आर स्टिल सीइंग कि इन्फ्लेशन इज नॉट विद इन द टॉलरेंस बैंड लिमिट। सो दैट इज कंसर्न कि इन्फ्लेशन स्टिल हम इतना सक्सेसफुली नहीं कंट्रोल कर पाए। इसके अलावा और जो मल्टी डायमेंशनल थ्रेट में कवर होगा, राइजिंग कॉस्ट ऑफ बोरोइंग की वजह से इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर के ऊपर नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, हाउस होल्ड सेविंग्स रिड्यूस हो रही है, वी आर सीइंग राइजिंग डिफॉल्ट्स, वी आर अगेन सीइंग कि in terms of the reality sector that is also getting impacted, and at the same time geopolitical situation bhi kahin na kahin threat dalta hai when we are seeing number of wars going on in different parts of the world. So that is also impacting inflation. So things are interrelated. That's how even the threat and different risks, they are also interrelated with each other. That is going to impact the stability. So what does the end to free money mean? So before 2022 March, when US Fed Reserve it began hiking the interest rate, that this we've seen कि borrowing cost उस particular time period पे zero थी almost. So many countries they kept their rates at that level to fuel the economic growth, so that again investment cycle एक तरीके से उसको हम push कर सके. That's why interest rate उस time पे lower level पे रखे गए थे. But experts say कि जो policy था it led to tepid growth and लो प्रोडक्टिविटी. सो उससे भी अगेन वी सॉ कि इतना कोई मेजर हमें इम्पैक्ट नहीं देखने को मिला, जो हम बेसिकली इंटेंडिंग इम्पैक्ट जो हम चाह रहे थे वो नहीं उस तरीके से निकल के आया. सो वाइल हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट्स वो आने वाले टाइम में और ग्रोथ को स्लो करेंगे. सो दे फील कि इट विल लीड टू अ फेयरर एंड मोर प्रोडक्टिव वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी. बट हमारे लिए अगेन जो मेन चीज है, इंटरेस्ट रेट्स हम क्यों हाइक कर रहे हैं, दैट इज टू कंट्रोल इन्फ्लेशन. सो इफ दैट अगेन स्टार्ट्स, वी सी कि उसमें आउटकम्स अगर हमें देखने को मिलने लग जाएंगे, रिजल्ट्स देखने मिल जाएंगे इन टर्म्स ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग इन्फ्लेशन, वी विल स्टार्ट सीइंग कि इवन जॉब इकोनॉमी जो है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट सेक्टर में वी विल सी सम पॉजिटिव आउटलुक. तो थोड़ा वी कैन से कि इट कैन लीड टू मोर प्रोडक्टिव वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी एट द सेम टाइम. एंड इन डेफिनेटली इंटरेस्ट रेट जब they would start declining also, so that would be also we can say a positive breather. So world economy के ऊपर कैसे impact हुआ? So we see IMF के according जो global economic growth है, they have pegged it at 3% for this year, against 3.5% for 2022. So जो पूरा effect है of this tightening monetary policy and the interest rate hikes, that kicks in, and उसकी वजह से we can expect कि growth would be slowing down to 2.9% in 2024. तो there is certain time lag when we talk about जो भी economic policy decisions लिए जाते हैं और उनका जो impact होता है, तो उसके बीच में एक time lag exist करता है, and that is even true in case of the economic growth also. So rising geopolitical flare-ups, वो tensions increase कर रहे हैं. Of late we are seeing Israel-Palestine conflict. This also adds up to more risk to the global growth. And India के ऊपर क्या specific impact हो सकता है? What again the projections for this? So IMF recently revised हमारा जो economic growth होगा, that would be around 6.3%. So the revision has been in upward direction, making it the fastest growing large economy. But जो higher for longer interest rate रहने वाले हैं, उसमें जो potential exist करता है to disrupt this growth, वो एक concern है. So we are seeing कि even bond market में जो even yields हैं वो increase हो रही है, तो वो एक again positive sign नहीं होता है. So this could trigger a portfolio outflow from India. FPI investors जो हैं, we are already seeing कि वो India में firstly heavily invest नहीं कर रहे हैं, and at the same time जो previously उन्होंने investments करी थी, they are exiting out of the Indian market, moving towards USA. So that is also adding up to the pressure upon Indian rupee. We are seeing Indian rupee is depreciating. उसको control करने के लिए we are seeing RBI is intervening in the market. It is supplying more of dollar. So if that happens, अगर again bond अगर और ज़्यादा bond yields और ज़्यादा increase हो जाती है, we're seeing that they are at an all-time high. So और we can see कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी से और पोर्टफोलियो आउटफ्लोज, एफपीआई आउटफ्लोज हो सकते हैं. सो अगेन यहाँ पे मेंशन है कि रुपी और ज्यादा स्लाइड कर सकते हैं, तो वीकर रुपी हमारे लिए इंपोर्ट्स को और ज्यादा कॉस्टली बनाता है. अगेन डेप्रिशिएटेड रुपी एक्सपोर्ट्स के लिए पॉजिटिव है, बट हमें जो अल्टीमेट या शॉर्ट टर्म में जो इम्पैक्ट देखने को मिलता है ऑफ डेप्रिशिएटेड रुपी इज imports get expensive comparatively when we talk about कि जितना exports को इतना ज़्यादा push नहीं मिल पाता है, तो उसकी वजह से we'll see imported inflation, and this could again force RBI to raise the interest rates further, जो again हमारी growth को और slow down कर सकते हैं. तो एक तरीके से पूरी cycle है how it's working. Quote of the day is, in recent years, India has established itself as a truly world-class hub for manufacturing, resulting in a thriving environment for the businesses to flourish. So this is coming for the senior vice president of Google. So we are basically trying to, create an atmosphere which is suitable for different entrepreneurs so that we can again, push more growth through our manufacturing sector. So be it Make in India, be it schemes like the production linked incentive scheme that we are having, be it even, reducing the corporate tax rate, even that is also helping, and ensuring कि basic services, basic facilities जो हैं, when it comes to the water supply, electricity supply, we are ensuring कि even we are जो problem है electricity supply में, the issue of grid connectivity, हम minute areas पे focus कर रहे हैं, we are building upon the road infrastructure, so that is also happening. So ultimately इन सब चीजों के multiplier effects manufacturing sector पे हो रहे हैं. We are also coming up with the labor codes, so the safety of the laborers, the migrant laborers, that is also being taken into consideration. We are having different schemes coming up when you talk about the social security benefits. So that is, all of that is being, ultimate jo aim or objective hai, that is for the development of the manufacturing sector in India. Coming to Financial Express newspaper now. So let's see. So SEBI, it takes carrot and stick route when you talk about the bond issuances. So दोनों चीजें हैं. When we talk about carrot, so incentives भी exist करते हैं, and कुछ ऐसे stricter norms, new norms भी announce किए गए हैं, which will be disincentivizing. So here we'll see कि जो bond norms हैं, they've been revised. So SOPs are for the large corporates who have raised more than 25% of the qualified borrowing through the bond route. And this framework, this will be available from 1st of January 2024 for the companies following the January to December as a financial year. So these are certain changes. SEBI's move, it is expected to even encourage the large corporates to take the bond route more aggressively and deepen the market. So bond market, corporate bond market India में इतनी developed या इतनी deep नहीं है. सो उसके लिए कुछ इनिशिएटिव्स हैं एंड स्टॉक एक्सचेंजेस दे हैव आल्सो बीन आस्क्ड टू कैलकुलेट नंबर ऑफ कंपनीज जो क्वालिफाई करती है एज लार्ज कॉर्पोरेट. सो यहाँ पे अगेन वी आर स्पेसिफिकली फोकसिंग अपॉन द माइक्रो एरियाज. इसके अलावा इवन व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इवन ग्रीन एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन के लिए कैसे हमारी बॉन्ड मार्केट हमें हेल्प कर सकती है, दैट वुड बी बिकॉज जो हमें कहीं ना कहीं मिसमैच देखने को मिलता है बिकॉज बॉन्ड मार्केट से जो फंड रेज किया जाता है दैट इज फॉर अ लॉन्गर टाइम ड्यूरेशन एंड ऑब्वियसली ग्रीन एनर्जी ट्रांजिशन के लिए जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं हमें पैसा लंबे टाइम पीरियड के लिए चाहिए. तो इंस्टेड ऑफ टेकिंग अप मनी फ्रॉम द डेट मार्केट जो शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए पैसा अवेलेबल रहता है तो वो मिसमैच ना हो, आगे फ्यूचर में जाके जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनके ऊपर भी इम्पैक्ट ना हो एंड डिफॉल्ट्स भी ना हो, एनपीएस भी ना इंक्रीज हो. तो वहां पे हमारी बॉन्ड मार्केट बहुत ज्यादा हमें पॉजिटिवली हेल्प कर सकती है in order to raise finance for the green energy transition. So recently a report came from JP Morgan which said that India would overtake economies like that of Germany and Japan and would indeed by 2027 become the third largest economy in the world. So right now we are the fifth largest economy. बट इसके अलावा yes this is a good thing कि एक projections आ रही हैं. We are also seeing कि हमारे जो fundamental economic macro economic variables हैं they are also stronger. We are seeing कि Asia Pacific region में India, China as we were talking about so much of growth we are contributing. as we also talk about कि Asian led century में again India का कितना contribution रहेगा. 16% India contribute कर रही है in the global growth. So in that also जो पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स हैं दे होल्ड गुड बट जो हमारे लिए कंसर्न्स है हमें उस पर फोकस करना भी इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट है. वन एस्पेक्ट जो हम बात कर रहे थे अबाउट ऑल अराउंड दी हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, उससे क्या चैलेंज है, वो कैसे हमारी इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ को नेगेटिवली इम्पैक्ट कर रही है, पूरी साइकिल हमने डिस्कस करी. सेकेंडली वी आर सीइंग कि डिस्पाइट इवन बीइंग राइट नाउ द फिफ्थ लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी वी सी देयर इज जो हमारी पर कैपिटा इनकम है बहुत लोअर लेवल पे है. दैट इज राइट नाउ एट $2500. सो वो बहुत लो है, वहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा गैप एग्जिस्ट करता है. तो ये कुछ कंसर्न्स भी एग्जिस्ट करते हैं व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट दिस. वी ऑल्सो नो कि जो इकोनॉमिक इनइक्वालिटी है वी सी की जो इंडिया में टोटल 1% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन है दे आर कंट्रोलिंग टोटल 10% ऑफ आवर टोटल नेशनल वेल्थ. तो ये इकोनॉमिक डिस्पैरिटी भी कहीं ना कहीं एग्जिस्ट करती है. देन एज वी टॉक अबाउट द सोल्यूशन सो वी कैन टॉक अबाउट कि कैसे हम प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्सेशन सिस्टम लाके वी कैन इंश्योर कि द वेल्थ द रिसोर्सेज दैट वी हैव दे गेट रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड इक्वली सो दैट जो ये इनइक्वालिटी हम इसको और रिड्यूस कर सकें. So now we can move up to Indian Express newspaper.
So we can take this topic of the IMF on bailout and its economy in turmoil. Dhaka seals pact with IMF on bailout. So Mansi, can you scroll please a little?
Pravesh, is it visible?
Mansi, your voice is not coming, Mansi.
Okay. I've scrolled it up, yaar. Is it visible? I think it is taking time to, scroll up and
अच्छा ठीक. Okay. So Bangladesh and IMF reached a staff level agreement on the first review of US dollar 4.7 billion bailout in a boost for the cash strapped economy as it heads towards the national elections. So now we have to see that whether IMF is giving this conditional bailout on whether on some conditions like it did with the India also 1990s, or it is something else. So completion of the first review subject to IMF board approval in coming about 681 million. It's substantial progress on structural reform. So again, the IMF has put out a condition for the structural reforms in the domestic sector to provide this bailout money, and continued global financial tightening coupled with existing vulnerabilities is making macroeconomic management challenging. The IMF approved 4.7 billion loans to Bangladesh in January with an immediate disbursement of this amount, and the funds had further calibrated monetary policy tightening, greater exchange rate flexibility, and tight fiscal policy would help restore the macroeconomic stability in the country. And this is the criticism of the institutions like IMF, which is usually done by the Asian countries when they seek such kind of financial help from the Asian Development Bank led by China, from the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which have a dominance of China. So the only reason of going towards these ADB and AIB is only because of the structural adjustments conditions which IMF comes with the time it comes with the bailout of money or the loan facility to the economies which are in need.
So,
So
Pravesh,
Taliban is also going to join.
I have one question that
Yes, Mansi.
we are seeing that Bangladesh, once it was one of the world's fastest growing economy, and suddenly when we see such economies, they are coming at this position as, going through this economic crisis. So herein, one reason is again the reduction the forex reserve. They're not able to pay for their imported crude oil needs. So one possible solution, which I would be suggesting that we are again focusing upon that, but that is going to take time, is that internationalization of rupee or the different currencies of the domestic currencies of different countries. Basically, we talk about de-dollarization. So instead, you know, जो जितना अभी इम्पोर्टेंस यूएस डॉलर को दिया जाता है, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं वी आर एबल टू सक्सेसफुली डाइवर्सिफाई दैट. तो जो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व का प्रेशर कंट्रीज पे बिल्डअप होता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है, कहीं ना कहीं एज अ सोल्यूशन इट कैन वर्क फॉर डिफरेंट इकोनॉमीज इन फ्यूचर.
Okay. So planning to join Taliban's Belt and Road Initiative. So what we are seeing that Taliban is also going with the BRI project of China, which is one of the largest infra creation and a kind of new Silk Route which has been started by China for commerce and for infrastructure creation. So I think this. So obviously India has apprehensions with the Belt and Road initiative on which is the initiative of China on various reasons because of China um, in the domestic issues of various different countries, and especially um, the Pakistan, which is considered as a major tension creator as far as the international relations are concerned. Are we on same page?
No, I'm scrolling it down, Pravesh.
No, actually, I'm on the very first page still now. Yeah, now it is coming. It is very.
What is happening slowly? Maybe it is because of slow internet connection then.
We can go down. Let me just check out. Okay, so what we are seeing in Jharkhand, that Women's Asia Champion Trophy is happening and where the international countries are participating. And this event is going to be conducted between 27 October to 5 November. So let's see who wins the most medals in this championship. So we are seeing that first rapid train is coming and its name is being kept Namo Bharat Rapid Train. So as we all know that the Delhi and the Western UP region, Meerut is getting connected with the regional rapid transport system. So this train, which is known as Rapid X train, is named on the Prime Minister name, and that is Namo Bharat. And train is indigenously manufactured with a high speed potential of 120 km per hour and operational speed of 160 km per hour. But the point is that can we go with the similar plan in other cities also? And obviously, this is done to connect the industries, to connect the service industries, manufacturing industries, and business development activities. But we now need to look, and we now need to you know lay these kinds of infrastructure creation across the cities, not in the metropolitans only.
So basically it will be again apart from all these areas which are highlighted by you, और क्या possible इसके benefits हो सकते हैं? So as it would be connecting three important locations of Delhi, Ghaziabad and Meerut. So firstly जो connecting time है, travel time है, वो reduce हो जाएगा. It would be also helping in solving the problem of traffic congestion, and the time जो reduce हो जाएगा, you can basically connect Delhi to Meerut in less than an hour of travel time. So even travel cost would also be coming down. It would be again somewhere helping even on the fuel cost also. So ये जो तीन urban centers है, they would get connected. And apart from this, all जो important locations हैं, वो साहिबाबाद है, गाजियाबाद, उल्धर and Duhai depot would get connected.
Yeah, so these are the industrial centers of the UP and the NCR, and this Muradnagar and Modinagar are known for their recreational and spiritual activities, because one you know there is a canal link which is directly connected with the Haridwar of river Ganga, so that is also considered as a very spiritual place. So it will leads to more recreational activities also, and will generate the revenue for those people. So again, we are seeing that how the Delhi's air quality is getting depleted, and the air quality index and the indicators are showing that the quality is going to be worse in the coming months and the coming days even. So obviously, the government needs to go with the plan of odd even, and that work from home is also a major um, initiative we can take, especially in these times when we have the poor air quality because of the stubble burning and then industrial pollution and the winter season, which actually do not let the air flow very fast, which leads to um, poor quality of the air near the surface. So I think work from home is a good step in this regard, which we can take immediately.
Okay, we can take up this topic also.
um, Okay, so serious injuries to democracy if press is not allowed to operate independently. There's a statement given by court. लेकिन अगर हम इस टॉपिक को बिना पढ़े ही बात करें तो ऐसा भी नहीं है कि मतलब सीरियस इंजरी होती है डेमोक्रेसी को अगर प्रेस को इंडिपेंडेंटली अलाउ ना किया जाए, बिकॉज व्हाट वी आर सीइंग दैट टुडे वी आर नॉट today we should not confine ourselves to providing the operational independence to the press. We should also go with the moral obligation and moral obligation on the press on the social media, when we are saying that how the press is going outside of its jurisdiction, and obviously the election commission have rules that during the model code of conduct you will not do the mock interviews, and you will not count the votes yourself before the election results come. Then various police authorities challenges the press departments to disrupt their investigation procedure. So I think a balance should be there, a harmonious construction should be there between the press and the executive agencies, and both should work in a coherence rather than one is saying that my jurisdiction is taken by the other part. So that should not be done. And obviously we have certain provisions under the UAPA and other laws which provides stringent mechanisms for the prosecution, for the investigation matter where the press is not allowed. So rather than just simply saying that press should be allowed there also, we can't actually go to allow press to work out there because of the security and critical reasons.
So herein, I would like to bring in first the regulation of media. So right now, since we are not having a proper regulatory body for the regulation, they are into only self-regulatory practices. That is one thing. How we can create responsible media, like responsible media in the sense that whatever news or information that they're spreading, talking about, they need to also take into consideration what possible impacts it could have on the mind of the people. And apart from this, we can have a proper media ethics code also, which should be mandatory followed.
No, Mansi, we the both the points which you raised already we have those. But the problem is that the regulatory authority, we have a self-regulatory authority which is created by the press agencies also. There is no interference of the government. So unless and until you do not have the government saying that, that will not lead to more transparent functioning of the press. Number one. And second, you are saying that model, code of ethics for the press association. So already we have Doordarshan Press Board of India, then PIB we have. They also have these model code of conducts for their functioning. But the only problems come when the private associations which are entering the press media these days. So actually they are the major problem creators. So um, during providing them license and there should be a proper surveillance over their reporting, and a fine tuning should also be done over what they are showing and what they are speaking on the national media.
So when we talk about the ethics code, so I would like to reshape and rephrase the idea that I shared, that we need to have a standard and a uniform media ethics code instead of the bodies having their own media ethics code, because somewhere we see that the accountability or the responsibility or the diligence with which that is followed, that comes under question. So having a uniform standard is much more important.
Okay. So, Mansi, we can take a little look on the topic of Bihar just went.
Which particular topic?
इससे ऊपर है थोड़ा. Yes. So what we are seeing that in ensure no child sits on floor. इससे थोड़ा नीचे मानसी.
Got it.
Yeah. Bihar looks at a new model to boost its school infrastructure. But let me share this, that this is not the problem of Bihar only. Even in Delhi, which is considered as the capital of India, there are a number of government schools where children hitherto sit on floor without having any sort of desk facility, which shows that how even despite coming of the national education policy, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, and subsidized education for the minorities, for the vulnerable, still we are not able to create the proper infrastructure in the schools and not able to provide the inclusive education, which is a major reason because of which the condition and the quality of government schools are not going to compete the private schools. And this is the only reason because of which the private schools demand a lot of money in the form of fees and other. And then we have DMs to develop a model under the feeder area concept and school cluster concept. So ये बिहार में स्पेशली करने के लिए जा रहे हैं, जहाँ पर नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है उसको भी स्ट्रेस पर लिया जाएगा.
So basically funding एक problem है यहाँ पे, and then cooperation between again the district education officer and the block education officers with the school authorities, so that again basic infrastructure, basic requirements available हो school में. So these are certain micro areas जो targeted approach follow की जा रही है in the state of Bihar. So this is, I think, it is targeting the basic infrastructure.
Yes.
So यहाँ पे somewhere other reasons where we see children even coming from socially backward backgrounds, even they are made to sit on floor and not join other students equally. So yeah, discrimination kahin na kahin, that also feeds, that negatively impacts the mindset of the child as well. So it is not just only about ki there is lack of infrastructure in the schools, that is
No,
why.
Mansi, if I think the point which you raised just now, that because of different multiplicity of caste, and the students which are made to sit on the floor belonging to the lower caste, so this shows that how the incompetent teachers we have, because the class remains in the hands of a teacher, and if he's allowing the similar kind of conditions where on the basis of caste some are sit to down and some are sitting on the desk, so this shows that the whole system, the whole government machinery of the school level is corrupt and highly malfunctioning.
Yeah, I think we can take up the explained page first.
Okay, so we are doing the safety test for the Gaganyaan mission. On Saturday, ISRO will test the performance of the crew escape system of India's planned human space flight mission. Crew safety is top priority for the mission, and this is the first of series of tests before ISRO attempts to lift a human to space. The space agency will also demonstrate its new low-cost test vehicle. So the flight test vehicle aboard mission 1, which is known as TV D1, will demonstrate the performance of the crew escape system of the Gaganyaan project. So will allow the Gaganyaan crew to leave. Mansi, you continue this. I'll be joining within a minute.
Okay, fine. So Heron, what other important areas are key for us or significant for us is, firstly, when we talk about other countries, like do they have similar countries, like have countries have gone ahead with similar operations or not, human test flights or not. We need to find out about all those countries. And apart from this, here from the perspective of science and technology, from technical perspective, the things, different factual areas, they are important. We are going to again go ahead with the LVM-3 rocket. We have again October 2018, there was a failure of the Russian Soyuz FG rocket, which led to premature end of Expedition 57 to the International Space Station. So previously, different countries have even attempted also. Some have failed, some have been successful, like this case of Russia. Apart from this, when you talk about NASA, so NASA landed on Earth basically. They even like had a human space flight mission. So NASA was successful as soon as the failure was detected on altitude of 50 kilometer when we talk about Russia. So the crew module that was separated from the rocket. So these were basically some of the experiments previously done. So that is.
And what are the status of preparation? So according to director of the ISRO, Dr. Somnath, he has said the time frame for the Gaganyaan mission is now 2024 and even beyond if failures are not if failures are experienced in the development stage. So 2024 or 2025 are going to be the year when we will be conducting such mission, this mission. And ISRO has completed the human ratings of LVM-3 rocket, जो कि गगनयान मिशन में यूज होने जा रहा है, and the static test of the human rated solid rocket booster will be used in the first stage of the rocket. So apart from this technical scientific knowledge, we should focus that how the space has been made a platform where every country is gonna penetrate for different purposes, whether it is economic or scientific research, then space exploration. But there are some challenges also, because in space when these missions goes, so their debris remains, and they have a apprehension that they might uh, collide with the planetary objects that leads to the blast in the space, and that can affect the earth also, that can affect the atmosphere and the climate also. So we need to ensure that also before we are going and we are heading toward these missions, so that we should not disturb the natural system which is established in the space.
So this we've already taken up. We can just see
Yeah.
this map, phase one and phase two, other corridors that we are working upon. So different phase.
So this map shows that how the industrial centers are majorly focused and being connected by these rapid regional rapid transport system, because Panipat is industrial area which is known for its textile production. Meerut is also known for its industrial production in terms of you know uh, IT and hardware, and that NCD Delhi, obviously Gurugram is IT, city of Haryana, and Haryana sub-regions also we have. For an example, we have Sonipat also, and we have Kundali also, and in Ghaziabad, which is in UP. So all these regions are important as far as the industrial areas are concerned, service sector is concerned, and the most important thing is the population density. These regions comprise a lot of population density, which commutes, in a day from here to there. So that is gonna help out all the commuters, also all the industrialists, and that will also definitely gonna leads to reduce the pollution levels in these cities.
And one major achievement would be again just 60 minutes to travel 100 kilometers. So that is going to be again a major achievement. So the speed of
Yes.
train is going to be around 160 kilometer per hour. So these are some of the nitty-gritties around it.
So we have seen an RBI report which is saying that broad-based uptick in overall economy. High frequency economy indicators show a broad-based gaining of momentum in the economic activity. According to article, the state of economy published in the RBI bulletin, this is the information which is cited, and consumer confidence is upbeat in the online shopping with wider choices, competitive pricing, convenience of easy return, and exchange lifting up the online shopping experience. So these are prominent, benefits which the online shopping provides the consumers, which leads to more appealing rather than the retail and the wholesale. It said that rural consumers also appear to be ready to join the party. There is revival in the demands for the FMCG goods, an uptick in the freight and packaging cost. And today, when we are seeing that how even the IRCTC, the railway, is also getting connected with the local vendors of the food to provide the food facilities on the stations in the form of station delivery. And surging yields and soaring crude oil prices have emerged as a proximate risk to the global growth. And deleveraging and higher capacity utilization have enabled heavy industries to gain traction. Rupee is exhibiting low volatility, inflation has moderated, and a major positive development is a relative stability in the core inflation. Softening in inflation by 180 basis points to 5% came from a strong negative momentum. So these are, some up and inflation levels.
And we can again leave it at raising one question key whether rupee can serve as a global reserve currency or not.
Well, it is highly impractical if we talk it now, but yes, in the coming years, it is going to happen, and it is going to take place with the active efforts of the government, then the corporates, and then obviously we need to have the capital account convertibility to a very large extent. But as per now, we are not having, above 50% the capital account convertibility. So unless and until we are not having that, we can't actually even think of that we can increase the pace of rupee as on the terms of dollar.
So when you're saying that we are not having right now 100% capital account convertibility, so according to you, what are the concerns if we go ahead with 100% conversion?
The most important apprehension is that if we will do so, that will leads to more volatility of our Indian rupee. And as far as the dollar is concerned, they have the gold reserves also to to save